What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for my annual top 50 list, my top 50 favorite songs of 2017. This is one of my favorite lists that I do every single year. It's something that I've done each year since 2011, and this year, obviously being no exception, I kept up with each song that I liked throughout the year. I made a playlist on Spotify for myself and for you guys. You can follow it, it's linked in the description down below, but I keep up with all of the songs that I like, and I ended up narrowing it down to about 400 this year. 400 songs down to 50? That sounds like cutting off fingers, like trying to pick your favorite kid. It's a hard thing to do, but at the same time, it's not that hard because the songs that are so great, and you know, the ones that are ingrained in your memory all year long, the ones that you keep singing, the ones that you keep vibing out to, the ones that you keep showing and pushing to your friends because you're like, this is too good for me just to have by myself. I need to share it with everyone. The ones that are just the best songs of the year generally present themselves to you. And obviously this is my personal list, as is with any list, it's always personal biased, and I'm willing to admit I'm definitely biased. If you're new to this channel, I'm more inclined to alternative, rock, some pop music, some hip hop, a little bit of electronic here and there. You'll see as we go through this list, but I want to make it very clear that my bias does lean towards those dominant genres. So without further ado, please drop a like on the video, support what I'm doing here on the channel, and obviously with the year-end content. If you've been enjoying it, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and other than that, here's my number 50 pick. The Foos cut loose on this slow-to-start turned flamethrower of a tune, featuring Dave Grohl's theory on how we're all connected as humans. It's a pretty cool concept if you ask me. It's an interesting one, it has great execution to it overall, and it's just a whole lot of fun. That's why this song made it on the list. "2017 marked the very first experience that I ever had with the band Converge, and I'm so glad that I followed up on that viewer recommendation. See, I do take your recommendations, I can't review everything. Converge hit with fast and aggressive nuance in their guitars. The guttural vocals add a supercharged momentum to the cut, and overall, this is the kind of quality that we need so desperately in the metalcore scene, especially if we want to keep from all those generic releases. Here Converge strike with something fresh. And I really can't take it no more. I've been my temptations, my lord. I'm young and I'm restless. And I really can't help it. From that opening speech of a child talking about why they feel there's racial injustice to the blissful guitar shining over the chorus, Joey Badass only further proves why he's one of the most talented young MCs in the game. Not only because he is talented as an MC, but also because he's very diverse. There's a whole lot of soul packed into Temptation, and you'd be a fool not to give in. Some fans were less than thrilled about Turnover's abandon of emo for more upbeat lo-fi indie rock, but me personally, I'm all aboard the hype train. Butterfly Dream is the epitome of why their new sound works for them. The singer's voice is naturally calm and cool, but the instrumental adds a playful feel to the song that we really haven't seen from them before. From the other side, on the level. Seeing Mac DeMarco live in concert was a game changer for how I thought about him as an artist. I caught his set at Boston Calling Music Festival in late May, and the dude is just flat out entertaining. His enigma and charm from the live set quite obviously bleeds into the studio versions and the bones of his music, with On the Level being my favorite of his new songs. The glammy synthesizers might seem a bit repetitive here, but just give this a chance to really settle into your psyche. It's a thing of beauty. You rarely forget the first time that you ever rocked the hell out to a song, and personally, with How Did We Get So Dark, I knew this was one of those songs that I would be coming back to many, many times in the future. It had that kind of grip on me. The blistering breakdown after what kind of had turned into a dramatic-filled vocal performance is just a huge suspense show and big payoff, something that definitely eventually winds down, but leaves you with kind of a satisfied smile on your face, thinking, what a ride. It really shouldn't be a secret that I am a massive fanboy for the music of the 2000s, so is it really a surprise that this is on here? I think we are a pretty rad band. While by no means the most original pop-punkers out there, you know they know their way around a hook. The sing-along here just proves that it is bop status.
Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers.
We lost so many beloved musicians this year, and sadly several of them, including Linkin Park's amazing Chester Bennington, took their own lives. One More Light is through and through a Chester moment, and while he might not have written the track, he completely owned it and made that passion and urgency bleed through as he relayed every single line. You could see his love and passion for the music and the fans as the slow emotional powerhouse was performed live and even on the record. Rest in peace, Chester. You were one of my childhood heroes, one of many, but at the same time, one of the most important ones. And you've left at such a vulnerable time in life, in our country, in the world in general. And I'm so glad that I just had the privilege that many people didn't have. I got to meet you. I got to experience talking to you. You actually knew who I was and thanked me for a review that I had done of Linkin Park in the past. It's incredible, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Rest in peace, Chester.
For kicks now. Let me kick it like it's 1986 now. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
You know when you hear a song and you just right away think to yourself, that's gonna be a hit? That was me with this song by the Alaskan native Portugal the Man. Feel It Still was a smash crossover hit, and it was something that I totally didn't expect in one way, but at the same time, it was like the Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Me effect. I knew it was gonna happen somehow, somewhere. It's hard to find fault with this song for me. It's catchy, effective, smart lyrically, and crisp, but not overly done production-wise. It's the band at their finest, if only the entire album Woodstock had been just as great.
All I got is a chance to just say, baby, love, you got me running away. You steal the air out of my lungs, you make me feel it. I pray for everything we lost by fantasy.
Jack Antonoff is a very busy man, but somewhere in between producing records for St. Vincent, Lorde, and Taylor Swift, the man managed to write and record the sophomore Bleachers album, which I was kind of impressed by. I wasn't a huge fan the first time around, other than like I Want to Get Better and a couple other singles like Roller Coaster, Shadow. This song really caught me off guard. I loved it, and as soon as I started playing it, I thought, this is the perfect summer song. It's something that you can just kind of roll the windows down to, cruise along, and it makes you think if you're not in summer, I want summer back.
Stop digging it up, or we're never gonna see it. All at play.
90s nostalgia and a new sense of style present themselves on Neck Deep's hit song In Bloom, and I really think they nailed it here. The emo-tinged verses match perfectly with that more melancholy guitar tone, drawing you into that every single time and the story that's going on before really smashing things open with that chorus that you're gonna have a very, very difficult time not singing along to.
When you get out of bed, don't end up stranded, horrified with each stone on the stage, my little dog cage.
The highly anticipated return of MGMT is finally here, with the lead single from their 2018 upcoming album showing very promising signs of what's to come. The foreboding lyrics almost sound like a warning, coming across in kind of a deadpan style as those knocking synth melodies really captivate the eardrum. The self-titled album was a mixed bag, but this excellent tune gives me hope for a very bright return to form.
Is everybody feeling the same stuff? We're all world, except for you, and you know who you are. This is a love song.
Dust off your disco ball, let James Murphy and company guide you back to the 80s. The reverberating synths plus the addition of the spoken, sung vocals and what has to be a cowbell just make this cut in musical ecstasy. Much of rock band The Main's new material feels drenched in nostalgia, and that's a topic I constantly find myself struggling with. The sound of Reverie acknowledges the present, but also expresses a desire to fall back in love with the way certain things used to be. The acoustic guitars are familiar and great, and John O'Callaghan's voice really seals the deal with his earnest vocal performance.
At least it's all about you. I think the bonds are done with fun. At least it's all about you.
While not that much of a departure from their past stuff, was anyone really asking for a drastic change? Waterparks are infectious as hell, it's undeniable. Blonde features some great ranging vocals from Austin Knight, and the fast and fun drum and guitar make this song easy to replay over and over and over again. In what I'd say is one of the best and most pure rock experiences of the year, this buzzing guitar-led gem lands in your memory permanently. Matters not what the people say, Hami commands before launching into a mesmerizing guitar solo on the 6+ minute behemoth that's sure to please fans both old and new. I'm excited by the diversity that SZA's music brings to the table. Signed to prominent label Top Dog, who are known for rappers Kendrick Lamar and Schoolboy Q, it's clear that she had a breakout year with multiple hits under her belt. I've gotta show some love to the beautifully sung Prom though, my favorite song from her debut album Control. The backing vocals and overall melodies are killer, plus the aid of some real instrumentation gives this the perfect blend of rock and R&B.
I'll keep your number safe, cause I hope one day you'll get the sense to call me. I'm hoping that you'll say you're missing me the way I'm missing you. So I'll keep your number safe.
Speaking of R&B, what a pleasant song we have on our hands. Saved is so silky smooth, perfected by its attention to detail when it comes to the production. The young singer Khalid sits on the fence, torn between confidence and insecurity after the end of a relationship. He tackles his problems in a much more intelligent way than many of his musical peers, letting his voice roll across a skittering beat and a guitar fusion. P.S. I'm sure some hate the vocal pitch shifting at the end of the track, but honestly to me, this is one of the best uses of it I've seen the entire year. In fact, I would say it actually enhances the track instead of detracting from it.
Thoughts all in my mind, all of the time. You must be in trouble for sure.
This is one of those jams where I just make myself look silly when I'm singing and dancing along to the track. Hot thoughts all in my mind and all of the time. I really don't care how I look though. The almost breathy intro vocals really call for something dramatic and silly as you hum or sing along, really catching you as the dominating guitar riff slices this whole song open. The vigor never dies off, and it's easy to see why this is another great one from the indie mainstay Spoon. Losing a friend is incredibly tough, but being able to put your personal story into a convicting song is just some other level shit. Sorority Noise are no stranger to unfortunate circumstances, just look to their hit song Using or many of their other tracks. No Halo excels because its motives are real. Its rage is bottled, but then it goes off like a firecracker. Loud, but beautiful.
Cause I'm high like hell, to burn when I'm not, then you're by yourself. Man, the answer to your prayers, I'm giving you that pleasure ever.
UK pop artist Dua Lipa crossed into the mainstream in a big way in 2017. Rightfully so, I might add. She's one of the best things that happened to mainstream pop in a woeful, gloomy year, adding a new spice to the recipe and crafting pop songs that, you know, actually pop. Hotter Than Hell is one of several songs I considered adding to this list, but when it came down to the wire, the fervent tropical spirit of this song convinced me that this was the right choice.
Why
While I've loosely followed Chain Gang for a few years now, I somehow failed to check out the new album when it dropped. I got to it a few months late, but my jaw dropped when I heard this dose of synthpop magic. I'm a huge sucker for the genre. The message of not being able to shake the memory of someone is tried and true, and the man behind this project gives it the special edge with its glamorized synths, over-the-top guitars, and a dramatic romance angle. The soaring meltdown is fantastic, and the rotated male and female vocals at the end is just icing on an already delicious cake. Recording straight to tape is a wonderful thing. We get to see a band cutting the track raw, having to perfect it themselves by playing it correctly and in sync instead of relying on a computer to fix it all. Over and over again storms in with a loud but more clean sounding guitar than what you're probably used to from this band. The glorious chorus features some really enjoyable guitars and vocals, as catchy as they are driving forces to the song's success. The guitar riff that opens this song is without a doubt in my head almost daily, and for me to still not be complaining about that can only mean good things for this track's longevity.
Forgive the Father, for they not know. For gospel of creed, kiss off a show.
You guys probably know that I am by no means a metalhead, but I always love it when I find something from the genre that truly grips me. Converge were another band that I thought had a great release this year in the hard rock and metal scene, and TRIVIUM here really hammer it home with the closing track on The Sin and the Sentence, a great album that I didn't review, I might add. Every member performs their instrument or vocal in beast mode, the double bass drumming is just filthy, and the guitars punch fiercely all throughout.
I know I'll never look back again. The devil is back again. I know I'll never look back again.
I might not have ever heard this tune if it wasn't for Portugal the Man randomly tweeting the link to this one day. It's one of my better random clicks of the year, I might add. The boyish vocals give a childlike quality and bounce to the shimmering synth-pop tune, a perfect bop for summer. Or for when it's the middle of winter and you're dreaming of summer once again.
Motion me to the sky. I heard heaven and thunder cry. Run for cover. And while you can, baby, don't look back. You gotta run for cover.
It's really hard to believe that I called this generic the first time that I listened to it and tweeted out my thoughts. I must have been in some sort of rut that night. Now as I play it, I hear an energetic smash with the character traits of some early Killers material mixed with the new wave of alternative that's caught on in recent years. Dave's guitar rollicks, Ronnie's drum thumps steadily as you sway with the music, and Brandon Flowers' playful lyrics and vocals hit the nail on the head, making this one of the most engaging songs of the year in rock. I'm really excited about this young band Wallows from the LA indie rock scene. You might already know this, but the guy who plays Clay on Netflix's series 13 Reasons Why is the vocalist and one of the guitarists in the group, which is pretty cool if you ask me. The looming driving bass forces the mind to pay attention on their fantastic single Pulling Leaves Off Trees, furthering the nostalgia for 2000s music with an angsty vocal and guitar combo. I can't wait to see what's in store for this band in 2018. Haven't stopped jamming this song since it came out. Fingers crossed that they'll actually put out a full-length album. After really enjoying 2015's Hand Cannot Erased based on the suggestion of a few of my fellow critics, I went into Australian prog rocker Steven Wilson's new project with pretty high expectations. It's certainly a bit of a departure overall from his traditional sound, but songs like this remind us of just what kind of charm this dude is practically oozing from every fiber of his being with. The erupting guitars swept me away into a feeling of the 80s, and the vocals almost have a calming effect somehow, like Captain Stevens just guiding the ship and I'm here along for the ride. Kesha's back, shaking expectations for her return with plenty of rocking tunes, including the Eagles of death metal assisted Let 'Em Talk. Dancey, loud, full throttle fun is to be expected for anyone that listens. Don't be surprised if you can't keep your seat while you're listening.
So I held my head up against the wall over and over and over and over again.
Nothing But Thieves were one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and boy, they sure did not disappoint in a year where a lot of my favorites actually did. When I first played lead single Amsterdam, it struck me in a very odd way at first, but once that chorus rolled around, I knew I was a fan. The lyrics center around not wanting to conform, yet essentially having to blend in, and the stress that you feel as a result of wanting to be unique, yet not being able to accomplish that task. The pressure is on, and this song never lets up from its tension-filled verses and lightning-quick chorus.
I think it's time you had a pink wild summer, 'cause you've gone too long without a smile. I think it's time you found another reason to stay for a while.
Incredible opening vocals break the ice on this track about coming out of a dark time in life to finally enjoy things. If you're down with some almost shoegazy driven guitar and a shout-along worthy chorus, you'll love this as much as I do.
I swear, I'm trying to get it all pieced together, but it won't fit, it doesn't make sense to me.
You may listen through this song and think, nothing too special here, but trust me, listen through the entire song. The outro alone is part of the reason why this song ranks up so high. For the majority of the track, Floor showed that their normally bright music has taken a darker turn, foreshadowing the finale and the underlying synth tone all throughout. Things finally fizzle out, and just when you think the song is over, that whirring synth fades back in and the drums start to thunder. I'm talking holy shit, this is gonna throw you for a loop type of talent.
But they only knew the real version of me. Only you know the secrets, the swamp and the fear. What happened to blood, our family? Annie, how could you do this to me?
I can admit that Mass Seduction as an album might not be for everyone, but the harrowing and somber Happy Birthday Johnny is a gem that pretty much any fan should enjoy. It's emotionally stirring, leaving the story of a disappeared friend to resonate with you on this softer moment. Things take a personal turn as well as she calls out to Annie, as in herself, Annie Clark. It's painful but beautiful, and I'm so glad that it exists.
And I won't trouble you. Trouble you. I won't trouble you anymore.
The feeling when an album just gets better and better as it simmers and settles in is really one of the best feelings in the world. It was incredibly tough to just pick one song from Play Dead, but I landed on Nuisance for a reason. The skeletal synths and downtrodden vocals make this electronic-leaning song a force to be reckoned with. It's brittle, but humble, as Paul Meany sings of feeling like a bother, or really a chore to those around him. It's really something I'm sure many can relate to, and I do hope you give this one a chance. It's honestly beautiful.
Every time you smile, it's a fake. Stop pretending you got everything now. I need everything now. I want it. I can't live without.
Disco might not be for everyone, but it's damn hard to say no to Everything Now. An extremely well-written and composed piece played on a nice variety of instruments. Sharp and on-point backing vocals make things all that much better. I'm a sucker for a great vocal harmony. What can I say? This song has all those things I mentioned and much more to offer. So put aside the critical reviews you may have seen of the album in general and jam the song loudly.
I just want it all. I just want it all. In my head, in my veins, in the way you give and take.
Lush. Sexy. Stunning. Those are the first three words that came to mind when I sat down to write out my thoughts on this slice off of the cake that is the XX's album I See You. I'll never forget the first time I heard this song. I was on vacation in Cancun, Mexico on an 82-degree day in January, and this song gave me a trickling, sneaking, majestic feeling that I still think of fondly to this day. It's a very well executed track. The production, the guitar, the vocals, just a nuanced feel to it. I love everything about this track. It's really all-encompassing.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away from here. We gotta get away from here.
As is the case with many of these tracks, I've already spoken my praises for this song in numerous videos, so I'll keep it even shorter than usual. Here we have a stunning ballad that completely stunned me considering what the other 1D members were doing, but then again, I've always thought that Harry could be a rock star. Keep it up, Harry, you're killing it.
Your party, run the jewels live at the garden.
Live from the garden. Live from the garden. Live from the garden.
Run the jewels live at the garden. Run the jewels
Live from the garden.
Christmas Miracles are no stranger to Run the Jewels, with the rap duo releasing their third album on Christmas Day 2016. That of course made it eligible for lists in 2017, and here we are at Call Ticketron. I absolutely love the interpolation of the recordings from what has to be the 90s phone system from Ticketron, a ticketing system that people used a whole lot over the phone back in the day. The beat is straight pulsating, unwavering fire, and the self-proclaimed last pirates alive trade verbal heat back and forth on this pace-setting juggernaut. Break out your pan flute and take a trip down psychedelic lane. It's time to let your mind wander free with the music of temples. Our mirror here is a portal to the other dimension of the mind, so don't overthink things, just enjoy the beauty of this 60s and 70s influenced psych rock.
Shiva serpentine, Shiva caller. I send a message, never call her. And now I wanna taste another. In the segment of the summer, she's my caller.
Banger. Banger, banger, banger. It's really the only explanation I can give as to why this is up so high on my list. Banger in every sense of the word. While many people seem super let down by the new Gorillaz album, I was over here lapping up everything I could get. She's My Caller sees Damon Albarn spitting bars as 2D, coming across as sly, apathetic, and at times desperate all the same. The grinding beat and whirring drums that continuously pop up are a nice touch, and the Kali Uchis feature adds a female perspective to the song that I simply cannot get enough of.
Maybe we're nothing. Whoa. Maybe we're nothing. Whoa. Maybe we're nothing. Whoa. Maybe we're nothing.
This young indie emo band had a breakout year, dazzling critics and fans alike with their charm and sharp insight from a youth's perspective. Crash Test Rating is certainly among the most captivating of the year. You know it's good when every single lyric makes you want to shout along at the top of your lungs.
And in the rain, I scream your name. So darling, just you shut your pretty mouth. I know I mean nothing to you now.
I could totally copy and paste a lot of the stuff I just said for my last pick here on this Creeper track, but alas, I shan't. It's theatrical, it's bombastic, it's Creeper. It's the UK punks at their finest, and I'm happy to see their success starting to cross over to the States as well.
Motherfucker, I got winners on the way. You ain't shit without a buddy on your belt. You ain't shit without a ticket on your plate. You ain't sick enough to put it on yourself. You ain't rich enough to hit the ladder skate. Tell me when destruction gonna be my fate. Gonna be a fate, gonna be a fate. Peace to the world, let it rotate. Sex, money, murder, idea.
Mike Will Made It laid down the tools for success, aka a swiveling beat that features a punishing change-up, and Kendrick killed and knocked out of the park everything tossed his way. Damn.
I don't wanna be cruel, but you're really grinding. I'm not a fool, but I have a rage and it's blinding. I feel it coming, is it exciting? I feel it coming, you're on my way and you're crying. You put me to death, what it
I was baffled by Yuck Fu upon first listen. I genuinely thought I hated it, and I was kinda upset with Wolf Alice for putting out a loud, shouty 2-minute track as the lead single from their hotly anticipated sophomore album. 3 listens in. Oh yeah, I guess I'm kinda warming up to it. 7 listens in. You bore me! You bore me to death with a party! It's the end of the year, and yes, now I am a full-blown riot girl.
Feels good to be running from the devil. Another breath and I'm up another level. It feels good to be up above the clouds. It feels good for the first time in a long time.
Purring synths, the perfect vibe, and a slight step into the haze of what made the mid-2000s alternative so enjoyable. High truly lives up to its name by making itself a replayable priority. Sir Sly are one of my favorite under-the-radar bands, and seeing this song perform relatively well gave me that feeling of pride, like A dad watching his son hit a football off the tee for the first time, or something like that. Sports!
So they pull back, make other plans. I understand, I'm a liability. Get you wild, make you leave. I'm a little much for everyone.
My heart shattered after a few listens to this touching piano ballad. Lorde is wise far beyond her years, and liability serves as a journal entry over the course of several different thoughts. Relationships crumbling is where we start, and the line, "He don't wanna know me, said he made the big mistake of dancing in my storm," often brings a tear to my eye. The implications of that are gut-wrenching, as she carries on thinking that she's alone, a liability. It's one of the best damn lyrics, if not the best lyric of the year to me, and this song continues stoking the fire as it progresses, never for a second losing its composure or purpose.
Sorrow, the unpredictable has found a hand at home. I've seen into the phone, coming home. Maelstrom, you are my only God. I've seen into the phone, I succumb to your everyone.
While I felt somewhat indifferent on Citizen's past releases, this moved me. The refinement of their rock sound took things to a whole new level for this talented young band. Just look at the song structure and the lyrics on this thing. There's a sense of grace and bitterness seeping into the words sung, spilling over into that tumultuous chorus that truly hits like a volcanic eruption. The ash that spews over is the clouded past, and the lava is the heat and the intensity of the guitar work, the vocals, and the drumming.
Lit me up like a torch on a pitch black night, like an ember in the needles of a dried out pine. It lit me up and I burned from the inside out. Yeah, I burned like a witch in a Puritan town.
It only takes one rogue spark to start a fire, and this is the first match that Brand New had lit in 8+ years. Little did we know it'd be a blazer that sent all of our expectations down in flames, because science fiction is just that motherfucking good. Lit Me Up is the first song on this masterpiece, painting a haunting portrait of a dream sequence and subsequent awakening. The imagery is vivid and easy for the imagination to bring to life while listening. The perfect soundtrack for a night drive to clear your mind as well.
Gonna make you wonder why you even try. Gonna take you down and left for you to cry. And I still don't know how I even survive. You're not gonna get your road bottom.
2017 may have been a lot of different things, but damn it all if Hard Times didn't seem to apply to almost everything. Hard Times, making us wonder why we even tried since 2017. On a real note, this song is the definition of a bop, from the marimba intro to the jagged disco-infused guitar and drums throughout. Plus, Hayley Williams kills it as always in the vocal department. Paramore conquered pop music and a new sound with real instruments, real attitude, and unfortunately not with a real big hit. Hard Times is robbed criminally across the board at the Grammys, on the Billboard Hot 100, just everywhere. You people slept on this one.
They always see me come back, always see me come back down. But I felt when I'm with you, every time you come around. We always see me get back, always see me get back up, and the lights are bright here.
Now that the shock of Hard Times not being number one is worn off, hopefully, then you've made it to my number one song of 2017. Now, when I said several times throughout the year that this song is flawless, that it's easily one of the best of the year, I don't think you were hearing me. Damn it, people, I love Suburban Wonderland! The airs take on the topic of finding beauty in the boring, surreal in the suburbia, and much, much more over a melting pot of goodness in the instrumentation. They crafted every single detail here perfectly, from the silky guitars to the build-up and the release before and during the hook. Well done to this young band. Be sure to check out my year-end list for best music videos over on my second channel Beyond ARTV. You might just see the airs with an appearance. There it is, we finally made it through my list of my top 50 favorite songs of the year. There's a Spotify playlist linked in the description down below. Please go check that out. It's got all of my favorites of the year. I've got one for my top 50, and then I have a second one that's just all of my favorite songs from 2017. I think there's about 400, 500 songs in there, so please check out those links in the description down below. This took me so long to write, film, edit, record, everything like that. So if you would, please drop a like on the video to show support. Help me get this to 3,000 likes. And if you were able to, guys, please support me on Patreon. It really does help. I know I preach it a lot, but seriously, it is something where I put a lot of effort in sometimes, and I don't always see the results in terms of monetary gains, and it's not all about that, obviously, but especially with these year-end lists, I do pour my heart and soul into it, and this one in particular took me probably, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to think about the amount of hours that went into writing and everything like that. So if you're able to support, that's awesome. If not, keep watching the videos and subscribe to the channel. That's more than enough right there. Thank you. If you would like to pick yourself up some ARTV merch and support that way, it's this annotation over here in the corner, or else the second link in the description. You can see another year-end playlist. In fact, all of them right over here, or my best from last year right over here. Socials in the description, and other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.